Wrestling Guide with your hosts, the Hall of Fame referee, JHawk, the not-so-mysterious benefactor, Jay Gold, and the legendary Charly Butters.
Welcome to another episode of the Indie Wrestling Guide. I am Charly Butters, joined as always by the guy that's really good at counting to three. They put him in a Hall of Fame for it, JHawk.
Hey, what's up, everybody? We're doing a real show intro. This feels weird.
I know, it's kind of weird. Changing it up, a little something different. No Jay Gold this week. His mommy took him on a Disney cruise, so he's not here.
And I'm completely jealous. I am not going to lie.
But we are joined by our friend Tess from Women's Wrestling Watch of Northeast Ohio.
What's up?
What has been going on with you? It's been a while since you've been on. It's been a summer.
It's been a summer. I don't do a lot of going to places in the summer. That is my hibernation time. So I've been hibernating. I got a promotion at work, so just doing that.
Congrats.
Thanks.
Anything fun wrestling wise that you've seen this summer that you really enjoyed?
Well, the show we're gonna review today, and man, I haven't really been to much wrestling in person. Well, I went to SummerSlam.
Okay.
So that was well worth it.
There's a lot of sarcasm in your voice there, Tess.
The show, 1,000% worth it. Will I ever sit in the sun in the Cleveland Browns Stadium again? No. You could never make me. No.
Give it 5 years in the Cleveland Browns Stadium act it gets now won't exist anyway, so it doesn't really make any difference.
Well, they're putting a roof over it and everything now. I'm like, of course. Now they're doing that.
Yeah.
Before the SummerSlam got there.
We might get Mania out of it. I'll be okay with that. That'll be the only Mania I ever go to is if it's in Cleveland, just because I don't want to travel. Well, I didn't do anything much this week. I had a couple fun purchases. I got the Raw 3-pack with Undertaker, Razor Ramon, and 123 Kid for $50 today. And I ordered an ECW belt to go with my RVD figure because he came with the spinner WWE belt. So I had to have the matching ECW belt to go with it. And I got the Bryan Danielson pay-per-view Target exclusive figure for $10 on eBay. Brand new, mint in box. That's what I did this week.
Well, we went to a Mahoning Valley Scrappers game on Saturday because my sister-in-law scored some free tickets. We did like the $2 upgrades, get the box seats.
Right on.
It was Mystery Bobblehead Day. It's like the last series of the year because they're trying to get rid of all the shit that they didn't get rid of during the year.
Right.
And people were pissed off that they got a random bobblehead instead of getting to pick one. It's like, they said Mystery Bobblehead. Like, what the fuck are you bitching about? There was some little old lady standing at the end of an aisle, like asking everybody, did you get this bobblehead trying to trade? Nice. I don't necessarily mind that one, but that's like after you already bitched at the poor staff, if they told you what you get, because it's like a fucking mystery. Yeah. Meanwhile, my wife's carrying around the Ed O'Neill bobblehead, which is the one I wanted. I'm not.
Hopefully, that's not the one the old lady wanted, is it? Did you get in a fight with this old lady? Push her down
We
some
didn't
steps?
I forget which one she wanted. No, we didn't get the one. We didn't get the one she wanted, but.
I
got a Brian Rocchio and my
it.
son got a Roberto Perez, I think it was. Then my sister-in-law got another Ed O'Neill.
I would have taunted her with it. I'm like, look what I got. Look what I got. You can't get this. You can't get this.
I would have been like, oh yeah, I've got it, $20.
And give me your bobblehead that you got at $20. Make it really worthwhile. All right, let's get into shout outs. Zach, Chris, Andrew, and Broccolini. Rocking the same four still. I love it. There is somebody that is subscribed to us on the free tier on Patreon, which doesn't really have anything. So I'm like, okay, hopefully they upgrade eventually. But interesting.
Thank you, freeloader.
Yes, thank you for at least showing interest in us.
Well, we have a special shout out for Patty.
Oh, of course we do. I was waiting to see if you were gonna say it.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Hi, Patty.
Don't get me in trouble, man. Patty's going to be so mad. Yeah.
Oh, I did see Patty at GCW in Cleveland.
There you go. Yeah.
We ran into each other there.
Nice. Yeah, I didn't get to go to that GCW show. I was busy at WrestleCon, and I was just so tired by the time I got done there. And then I got sick, so that was probably why I was tired all weekend.
See, I worked at GCW, so I was busy. Yeah. I did that like over half the day that day, and then the next day was SummerSlam. Like I was whooped.
Yeah, I was just dragging, and then like Sunday I woke up and I was like legitimately sick, and I'm like, oh, that makes sense. Now I know why I wasn't feeling well this whole weekend.
Yep.
What's on this weekend?
Over on Thriller TV, powered by Fight, Saturday, August 31st, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, GCW presents Live Fast, Die Young 2024. Among the matches signed for that card, Vance Warner defends the GCW World title against Gringo Loco, Mustafa Ali against Sidney Akeem, Megan Bain against Miyu Yarashida, Blake Christian against Gillo Fatu, and much, much more.
You said her name right. Mia Yashimada. Yamashita. I'll say it right eventually, right? I'm making fun of you for not saying it right, and then I can't say it right. It's about par for the course.
Yeah, there are definitely some Japanese names that I look at. I'm like, I'm doing I'm Americanizing the pronunciation. I'm not bothering with it, but Yamashita, it's not that difficult if you know it. And over on the independent wrestling.tv side of things, Sunday, September 1st at 6 p.m. Central Time, Inspire AD presents May the Circle Be Unbroken. Rachel Rose against Burt Vixen, Danny Orion defending the Pure Prestige Championship against Maya World, Little Evil defending the Inspire Pro Championship against Robbie Eagle, and Effie against Devin Carter, and much, much more on that card. That's what's on.
That's super interesting show name. I feel like some show names get like right on the verge of being like a weird campy horror movie that you would see sometimes. Super, super interesting. Or like some weird cult type thing. I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah, that one's a weird one because that could be a horror movie reference. That could also be a religious reference. It just kind of depends on how you want to handle that one.
JHawk, I think we should start a cult, and we'll call but it'll be a wrestling promotion. It'll be called Cult Pro Wrestling, and it'll be an actual cult. But then it'll have pro wrestling. What do you think? Does this interest you?
Is it all pro wrestling a cult? I'm confused.
It honestly, a lot of it is. A lot of it is. Like the tribalism is something else. Imagine just liking what you like and enjoying all wrestling. It's insane. Who would ever do that?
Doing a review.
All right, and we are covering Wrestler's Laboratory, Oh My Glob, which took place May 26, 2024, from the Mecca, Ridgefield Park, NICA, Columbus, in Ridgefield Park, New Jersey.
Feels like forever ago I was there.
Tess, you were there live. Give us the feels, give us the vibe, because it didn't look like it was a super packed crowd. It looked like they had an okay crowd, but not as packed as I've seen that place packed before. No,
it was not as packed as we've seen it before, which is sad because he puts together a really great card. Chris does.
The card was stacked. Like I couldn't believe. Like every time I didn't double check into anything. I just like put it on YouTube, or it's on YouTube for free for everybody to go watch right now. So go do that. Wrestlers Lab. Oh My Glob. It's like 2.5 hours long.
Yeah.
And like stacked card. Like the talent that's on this card is insane. And I'm like, are they that spoiled that they don't care that this talent is here? Is it? It's really weird.
I don't know. I really hope that like if he puts like boots to pavement and starts like advertising locally that changes, because the crowd was smaller than last time, and the card I feel was further stacked than last time. I've gone to 2 live lab shows now, and so far a match in this show, most recent one has come out as my favorite, one of my tops of all times. So like there needs to be more people there. It's worth it. He does a great job booking and bringing in people. It was a great vibe. I mean, obviously there was not as many people as I'm used to, but otherwise it was a great vibe. The vibes were better this time overall compared to last time. I think the vibes last time got a little weird because it got dark quick. And like there's a lot of like natural light coming in, and that didn't happen this time because it was in the middle of summer, so it worked out great for that.
I think part of it is, especially that building gets so much wrestling. How much wrestling can you go and see in one place?
I mean, if I lived locally to that place, I would be there every weekend. I that would be great to be able to have all that wrestling, especially when you got like DPW showing up every so often, and then you got like Wrestlers Lab just has such a great mix of like talent on it. Like you don't get that talent in a lot of places. Like we're lucky we have like Enjoy in our area that kind of gives us similar talent and a similar mix. But like if you lived in like Cleveland, there's nothing that gives you a mix like that.
No, and I think part of it is too, it's like a catch-22 because he does the shows on the Mondays. Like for example, if he were running one in the near future, it would be this Monday because it's a holiday that lands on a Monday that most people have off. So or he wouldn't run it on a Monday, he would run it on a Sunday. So people have Monday off the next day. And it's like a catch-22 because when he does that, the pricing to be in the area, because it's like 30 minutes outside of New York, is astronomical. So like hotels, Airbnbs, everything is through the roof because it's a holiday weekend. So like, I don't know if that's the issue, but there needs to be more people there.
Yeah, we tried to have him on. He said that he was real busy and that he would come on eventually when he had good news to share, but he didn't have anything really crazy going on with the company, so he didn't want to come on and just kind of not share good news. So I told him that's fine. Whenever he has good things to share, to come on and we'll break it all down and have a nice big discussion about the company, because I've known about the company for a super long time. I have all kinds of thoughts about things that I see that I can see where they can be improved. And I think that it's simple things, and I don't think they're bad as they are, but I think it's like a little like twist that'll make it just more fun. Like the ring announcer, instead of being in like a full like tuxedo, I think it would be really cool if he came out in like a lab jacket. Just something like that, like kind of, in the big rubber gloves or something. I think it'd just be fun, something different. Like I don't know. But that was one thought. Toddy Tondera, Iron Man on commentary.
Yeah, I don't know that he was supposed to. I don't think that they were supposed to. I think there was listing for like two commentators. I don't know what happened with the other one.
Yeah,
like good on Toddy.
He is able to do that. Like he has done that at 880 for so long that like I knew, like once I heard that, I'm like, oh, he'll be fine. It's not going to be annoying commentary because he is so good at doing solo commentary. And I think like if I ever did commentary, I'd want to do it with Toddy, just because I feel like, first of all, him and I gel pretty well when we're not, like when we're just having a discussion. But on two, I think like he is such like so good that I think that like it would cover up my like not being good. I feel like we would gel so well that like his being good would just cover up my being bad. So I think if I ever do commentary, it has to be with Toddy. It'd be who I'd want to do it with. So
yeah, well, let's go ahead and kick it off with the action.
Yeah, speaking of collaborative efforts, let's talk about this collaboration tag team match that we had here.
Brilliant segue, Butters. I got to give you that one to you.
I know. I had to hurry up and get it in there real quick.
It is for the Wrestlers Lab Collaborative Championship. The champions, the outfielders, Shea McCoy and Weber Hatfield, taking on the Batiri, Kadama, and Obarian. Fun opener. I like this.
No demons in Wrestlers Lab. Not allowed to have demons in Wrestlers Lab. That's all I remember Toddy saying, and I made me laugh really big. This match, hot the whole time. Didn't slow down. Super fast, action paced the whole time. As an opener, this is how you open a show. This was perfect. Everything flowed really well. Nothing slowed down. There was constant action. The crowd got super into it. It didn't take much for them to get going, and they didn't slow down the whole time. This was really, really good.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed this as well. One thing that did wind up being a theme throughout a lot of the show was fighting on the floor for several minutes before the bell actually rang.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I don't mind that once a show, maybe twice if you have stories that warrant it. But if with like almost every match did that, that would probably be my one big takeaway as far as changing the format of the show. So not every match has to start off hot. Not every match has to go to the floor.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Every match should use the ring post, though, right?
Don't get me started on that shit from SummerSlam. Fucking shoulder in the ring post every fucking match.
Oh, yeah. No, even live, I was like, what the heck is going on? So, yeah.
Thanks, but you already know I'm in a bad mood, Butter. Think I bring that shit up. Thanks.
Hey, I didn't bring up other stuff. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
I'm being good.
Yeah, but I mean that would really be my one complaint with this match was just that match took about 9 minutes bell to bell, but it was probably close to 15 because of all the fighting on the floor, and that was the theme of the night.
Yeah, it was being front row. Yeah, it happened a lot. There was like, it always happens with their big scrambles. So I anticipated it for that one. Usually if they do a fan sprint to weapons, you might get it there, but it was a lot of them were on the floor prior to bell. But I mean, I liked this match. It was my first time seeing Terry, so it was my first time seeing that tag team, and they were fun. They're really nice dudes, but in the ring, they had a nice thing going with their tag team to keep things brought up and going.
I wish they would show up other places. I think they'd be really cool to see in AIW.
Absolutely.
The Outfielders did win with a code orange, which is a code red with a running knee from Shea, which I thought was a pretty cool move. So a pretty cool collaborative move.
From there, we have what is being billed as the final act match. Trevor Aeon taking on Derek Dillinger. Basically, if Trevor Aeon wins, he earns a future shot at the Wrestling Class Championship held by Eel O'Neill. But if he loses, he cannot get another shot as long as Eel O'Neill is the champion. Pretty straightforward. If with Eel O'Neill defending the title later on in the card, always the possibility of the stipulation not even meaning anything at the end of the night, which never happened, but just once I wanted to see that happen. like none of it mattered. Title change hands anyway. Screw you. But
yeah, like what if like the guy loses the match and then he comes out and costs the other guy the match so then he can get a title shot? I mean, be pretty smart.
Yeah. So this is fun. Trevor Aeon, I've seen once or twice. I really like what I see of him. Derek's Derek. Derek's gonna have a good showing every time out.
I don't remember seeing Trevor before, but I like the cowboy hat. I like the gothic gangster gimmick that he has. I think it's different. Not something I've seen before. Really, really like it. Want to see more of it to see what it's all about and see what else he can do. But yeah, this was, Derek's going to do what Derek does, and he always shows out. And I thought these guys meshed really well.
Trevor's fun. Trevor's fun to watch. I saw him for the first time at the previous lab show, and I like his gimmick. I think he could probably even, I feel like in the right place, because lab is a little bit more family driven, but he's really liked there, so it works. But like, I feel like if he's given the right platform, he could go a little all out with the vibe, and then, maybe like supernatural stuff he might be able to lean into with it if he really wanted.
Okay.
Definitely a ton of potential with the gimmick. Again, fun little matchup here. Aeon pinned Derek with a diving forearm and appeared to have earned a future title shot. But wait, here comes Eel O'Neill going, oh, wait, it's my stipulation and you've got another match. And out comes Perfect Perkins. You have to have two parts to a final act. Everybody knows that. Derek will tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta be a twist in the final act. And this one starts on the floor for several minutes. Again, theme of the night.
And then Eel O'Neill helped cheat throughout. So he was, doing the good old manager part, choking on the outside when, they're over the ropes and the ref ain't looking. And
shout out to both referee Grogi and Crystal.
Yep.
Love both those ladies. They both did a great job the entire show. Fantastic.
Great job.
Yeah. And there's continuous talk of that Crystal got punched at the last show by Eel O'Neill.
Wasn't Crystal. That was her first show back. It was
Gina.
Rough Gina?
Yes.
Okay. Rough Gina got punched.
Yes.
And why is Eel O'Neill still the champion and not suspended? Explain to me.
Because it's wrestling. That's pretty much he might enter anything at this
it's
point.
It's wrestling, and Chris has addressed that if he creates the same kind of actions again, there will be consequences.
That doesn't seem right. I don't think you should be punching people and getting away with it. That's shenanigans. Chris, we're going to have this discussion because I know you're going to listen to this. This is going to be brought up, and you better have a really good answer when you come on the podcast, because I'm going to put your feet to the flames. You got to answer for this.
Yeah, but we got Eel O'Neill interfering pretty much at will until Darian Bankston finally comes out to fight him off and even up the odds. Of course, Bankston got the shot at Eel O'Neill in the main event at the end of the night, and Aeon gets the win with the kiss, kiss, bang, bang to earn a future shot at the Wrestling Lab Championship. And from there, we have a fun little scramble that's called the Element of Surprise Scramble. And the winner going to get like the little peek of the aggro crack from Guts or something. I think that's what they're going for.
Yes.
Yep.
which was sweet.
Edith Carril against J Game Joseph Alexander versus Grimm versus Cosmic versus Darius Carter versus Maid Kira. I'm going to say it. I fucking love the Maid Kira gimmick.
Yes.
I didn't think I would, but that was so goddamn entertaining.
I don't get it. I don't get why Maid Kira is a thing, but
I heard a blip about it when I asked there. I think, and I'm so sorry if I'm wrong, Akira. I believe he started doing it on his Twitch stream.
okay.
And then I don't know how that came about. And then it's now a thing, like a
just
gimmick.
rolled into a thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Toddy mentioned something about how it came to be in Wrestler's Lab, and I don't remember the backstory on it. I didn't think to write it down. But they did try to explain it as canon as to why it's a thing. But
Well loved. Maid Kira is well loved.
I guess I'm not a Kira fan. I have some reservations on that from some past things that happened. But if everybody else enjoys themselves, and I'm not gonna yuck anybody's yum. So.
And a fun little bit before the match even begins, like Maid Kira comes out, and then as Darius Carter is coming out to the ring, Maid Kira leaves the ring and starts sweeping the floor behind him.
Yeah.
Like if he's dragging dirt behind him, which was fucking great. I love it. And this is a scramble match, so scramble matches are pretty much what they are. It's going to be pretty much all action. Going to be a lot of insane stuff. Maybe a little too long for what the match is.
There's a couple weird things in this match.
Yeah.
I know apparently Edith was dealing with some issues, and I retired not long after this match.
Yes.
This is one of her final ones, and also like right towards the end when it was Mr. Grimm and whoever Mr. Grimm pinned, I can't remember, but I watched Akira just walk to the back, like through the curtain, just walk off. I'm like, it's a scramble and you don't care about the finish of the match. What are you doing? It's not over yet. Just wandered off through into the back. I was very confused by that. I'm like, wait a second. Like, I get like your spots are done, but don't you have to pretend to still want to try to win the match? Like, I'm confused.
I just think so. Like this match, like had a lot of highlights that were good. I feel like it went too long, and I feel like they were missing like a streamlined idea. So, like, is it going to be really comedic, or are we going to beat the crap out of one another? And they were kind of trying to do too much of both. I feel like is where it kind of came in, even in person. Like we were like, this match is still going, and we couldn't figure it out. Like they had moments where they all came together, and like you would have a like, oh my god, or it would be really funny, one or the other. Like they did that good. Like the opening, I loved it. Opening could have been shortened, very like a little bit shorter. If they had maybe planned something out a little bit better, but the opening itself was hilarious, especially live, knowing that like, Maid Kira was trying to get Carter to do, whatever. And like, who knows what she said in his ear. Like it was funny. And so it was like, there was tons of Maid Kira was the comic relief. So the Crocs hits and the Kung Fu outside, like it was good, but like, I feel like they needed to focus on super comedy or like beat the crap out of one another. And I feel like they tried to do too much of both, and it made the whole thing too long.
And there was a lot of slop in it too. Like I felt like there was some really sloppy segments in it that just really dragged down the quality. Like there was a couple spots that were just like way too long because I don't know if they were getting their lines crossed, but there was like a body slam spot that like they kept countering, and it didn't make any sense what they were doing. I'm getting a little nitpicky on it, but I mean, overall, like it wasn't the worst thing I've seen. But it could have definitely been shorter and been more succinct and like, yeah.
Yeah. Well, the spot that you mentioned is one that stood out to me live and on the rewatch. So yeah, I feel like they needed to, like you said, be more succinct, more concise on what they wanted to do to get it across. And like that kind of stuff wouldn't have happened because the spots that were good, and all of them had at least one or two good spots that you saw, it was good. I will say in person, if anybody is watching it on YouTube, it is at 55:24 is the time marker. That is milliseconds or a second or two before I thought Maid Kira died. It is so much worse in person than it was on the replay. That's when he got like tackled. I think he got tackled by Grimm. at like full sprint.
Yeah.
And been gone. Kira was gone. Like the back bend. It was awful. That was really early on in the match too. So
I'm guessing maybe that might be why Maid Kira just kind of was like, all right, I'm done. I'm going to the back. Like, I'm hurt.
Oh,
that
was a full sprint tackle from a big man. Like,
so because I just thought it was really weird. Like, I was like watching it at work, and I'm like, I wasn't really busy, so I was like, I didn't really miss anything. But like, all of a sudden, like I'm watching like Grimm and somebody else, and like doing their final spots to like Grimm get the pin. And like I just see Akira made Kira walking to the back, and I'm like, the match is still going on. It's not elimination. What are you doing?
so in person, it did not read on screen. In person, Maid Kira's wig fell apart, so it kept falling off, but the pieces came apart, and so we were like right in front of her when she was just like, I'm over this, and like walked to the back because her wig was like literally destroyed. So I mean, that's probably how he played it up, but I don't know. I was also surprised. I was like, why disappear? But I mean, that's what happened in front of us when it happened.
Okay, that makes sense then.
Well, it was Grimm pinning A Game 15-12 to get the victory. And then we have Fans Bring the Weapon, Max Zero against Big Game Leroy.
Oh, handsome Max Zero.
Yes. He nearly killed me with a switch. Leroy's switch. Which they did not put back in the video. I was like, okay.
Yeah, my favorite part about Fans Bring the Weapons match is just seeing what weapons get brought and how creative some of them get. We've got an Xbox 360, we got some game cases, we got some bats, we got mailboxes, wooden swords, a
PS2.
xylophone.
Yeah, PS2 stop sign. The xylophone, the stand for the xylophone got used quite a bit on a couple different segments, which was, those things like suck. So like I'm sure that probably didn't feel good at all whatsoever.
If you could argue Leroy's switch was used, he bashed him in the head with it once, and then Max Zero chucked it across the entire room, and it landed at our feet. And I don't know how, because you drop a switch from like out of your hand and it shatters, but that switch still worked. So I'm glad Leroy's switch still worked.
And those things ain't cheap either.
No.
He got a durable one.
I'm curious if the 360 and the PlayStation worked after the match, because there was definitely a Death Valley driver done on those. I'm curious if they worked after.
I know they got signed by the person who brought them.
Nice.
I know a person who could make them work again, which is immediately what I thought. I was like, why, if it doesn't work and it's a special edition, I have someone who can make it work. Why are you letting wrestlers destroy these poor things? We always get heartbroken every time we see these old consoles be destroyed inside the ring. We're like, no, we know someone who can repair it. No.
I guess it fits because it's Big Game Leroy. It makes sense. It does. But at the same time, the video game fan in you is just like, no.
Yeah.
Why?
It was a good match, though. I really liked that match. That was my first time seeing Max Zero, I think.
This was probably, I'd say, my third favorite match on the card. The opening tag was probably number 2, and the next match we're going to talk about was my number 1.
Yeah.
But I really, this was fun. I love Max Zero. I was just listening to the clip of him on the show today when he was harassing me about not wanting to say that he's handsome online.
Mm-hmm.
And you were on for that. So you were in that too, which just made me laugh really hard. One of my favorite episodes. But yeah, so he did that. And then Big Game Leroy did a Death Valley driver on Max Zero, which impressive because Big Game Leroy, tiny little guy, at least compared to a handsome Max Zero, it feels like. He did that, and then he used that stand for the xylophone in a crossface to get the tap out. So
and the weird thing is, like, this is one of those matches where you're like, well, they're not going to tell much of a story. They're just going to hit each other with stuff. They told a pretty good story here. You got Max Zero working on the knee, and they actually told a nice cohesive story. I like this a lot. I'm actually going to go so far as saying I think this was my favorite match of the show.
Oh, nice. I do think that if you can properly tell a story using hardcore elements, that you have a special talent. Like there's certain deathmatch wrestlers that don't just do really good at getting hit with shit. Like if you can tell a story with those elements in the match, you have a special talent. Guys like Bobby Beverly has that talent. A couple other guys really have that talent. And I think that if there needs to be more of that if you're going to do deathmatch wrestling, not just the sloppy, let's throw each other through some shit. If you can tell a really good story with it, I think that it adds a lot to it.
Yeah, I agree. And I also agree with, well, I agree that this is my second favorite. It's up there from the night. It was really good.
We come back from the intermission with tag team action. The Savage Gnomes taking on Birdlaw.
Yes.
I think we're going to disagree on this one, and it's not that I don't like the match. Don't get me wrong. This reminded me a lot of everything I don't like about Young Bucks matches, though. There's a lot of really cool shit in here, but there is a lot of shit in here, and there's no cohesion, especially in the second half of the match. It's just by the end of the match, it's just what other kind of cool shit can we get in our time, and I think there's a place for that. And again, everything they did was really cool. Really looked good, but as a match, I could not get into it. I didn't care by the end of it. That's not a knock on anybody. I love all four of these people.
I thought it was good. That didn't bother me, honestly. I think there's just a lot of really fun stuff in this. Give me Nomi just spearing people out of midair all the time.
It's my favorite spear of hers so far is that one.
Yeah,
it was so good.
I will agree with that.
For it. Good stuff. Like lots of good falsy finishes. It was good stuff. I really enjoyed this match a lot. And in 2 weeks, Gabby Forza will be joining us, and I'm so excited for that to happen. It's been on the docket since May, actually. I want to say so
right about the time of this show. Actually,
yeah, it's been in the works since then because she was coming out to AIW on Thursdays, and we had kind of set it up that time, but she's a football player too, so she kind of was busy with that, and then she did vacation, and then she got hurt, so there's a bunch of stuff like I didn't want to really bother her during all that time, like with my crap, but we got to talk at Rager and got to kind of set everything up, so coming soon.
Yeah, I mean there is a lot of really good stuff in here, and let's be honest, I think the only reason Speedball isn't signed somewhere nationally, I don't think he wants to be, but he said publicly more than once that contracting and wrestling really aren't good. He wants to be able to wrestle everybody.
Mm-hmm.
If he wanted to be signed somewhere, I think he would be by now. I love Speedball. So
I think what he's got. Sorry to cut you off, Tess, but what he's got with TNA, I think, is perfect because he can wrestle there and then still do the indies, and I think that's perfect for what he wants to do.
Yes.
Go ahead, Tess.
No, I was gonna say that because it's just like Masha's the same way, so that way they can go out and wrestle who they want to wrestle. This was my match of the night, and it was a lot to do with the fact that like I'm opposite of JHawk on this one, that like I didn't mind that they pulled out all that stuff and kept going and kept ramping it up and all the false finishes and had a bunch of shit going on in the match because they're both really good teams. Like it'd be different if it was like some other team that didn't quite have the same like spunk or like energy level or quality of Birdlaw because it's Mike Bailey and Veda, so that's kind of the standard to hit. But like it's Bear and Gabby, like they matched that level and that talent, and so it was just there were just moves that were being thrown and done that I'm just like. That Gabby spear is definitely one of those. Like spearing Speedball directly out of the air was ridiculous to see live. I got a great laugh out of the squats spot between Mike and Bear, especially because I am a metalhead, so I was singing to Birdlaw's theme, and clearly so is Bear, and he was screaming and singing it back at Speedball, who couldn't squat Gabby. While he was squatting Veda, and it was a good little like comedic break. So they can kind of like clearly catch their breath and get ready for the speed up there.
They did like such interesting things. Like, yeah, there's a lot, like you said, there's a lot of shit in this match, but I think it made sense when you're watching it. It's just a good time. Like they could do a little bit of comedy, they do really hard hitting stuff, they could do all this, and it just flowed really well. And I think like mixed tag teams that can kind of do a little bit of all of that work so well. Like you look at you look at the Savage Gnomes against like the production, like those matches have been stellar when they've had them. I really want to see Savage Gnomes against the Outfielders because I think that's going to be crazy good. Just that, give me a mix. Like these, I think mixed tag teams are really interesting right now. Like I wasn't on board at first, not because like I think intergender wrestling's awesome. It doesn't bother me whatsoever. I've always been like, I was a big fan of before all this stuff came out when Tess Blanchard was doing it and like having good matches with people. I thought that was really cool. That I'll never be somebody to be like, you know, to dog on women being able to beat men in wrestling because it's wrestling. It's not domestic abuse or any of that crap. I think that's a stretch by like goofy people. But I think this how mixed tag teams are like becoming a thing now. And like I said, I wasn't on board just because I felt like there wasn't enough mixed tag teams that could do a lot of really cool stuff. But I think there is now. We're starting to see a lot of these teams. We got the Outfielders, you got Savage Gnomes, you got Bird Law, you got the production. I know like Isaiah Broner and Jocelyn team sometimes and do stuff. Like I think there's enough mix of teams there that eventually I think we're going to see some type of like tournament or some kind of show with like a lot of mixed tag teams on it, and it'll be really interesting to see some of those dream matches come to fruition.
In the end, it was Bronkin pitting Speedball with the Outsider Bomb in 1914.
That's match, what, 20 minutes? It didn't feel like a 20-minute match.
No, it didn't feel like it live either. There's a reason they got to fight forever chant.
Yeah, this felt like maybe it was like a 10-minute, man. I don't know. It's funny because this match went longer than the scramble. The scramble felt way longer for sure compared to this.
Yeah, and again, like it's not that I didn't like the match. I liked the match. Mm-hmm. But by the end, it's like, okay, you can do all this great stuff. I get it. Me personally, I couldn't get into the match because I was waiting for the next spot rather than is this going to be the finish. That was my big thing with it. Honestly, that finish almost felt like a letdown at that point because they had done so much up to that point. Again, I love all four of them. I didn't hate the match. I just felt they could have done. Felt like it could have been structured a little bit better, especially with the fall. But
okay.
But we move on to our semi-final match: Delilah Doom against Janai Kai. This is the first time I've seen Delilah Doom doing the Jacker Sky gimmick. Bonus points for coming out to How I Met Your Mother, Let's Go to the Mall song. Fantastic.
This was supposed to be Delilah Doom against Ziggy.
It was indeed.
And I was very bummed that this was not that match. But Janai Kai was a great replacement, and I thought this match was pretty good. I do like Delilah Doom. I've liked her for quite a while. Her boyfriend was another one that they were doing mixed tag stuff like 5-6 years ago that I thought was really cool. Hopefully she comes back. I do like the gimmick. I think she's got a real unique look, and I think that they could do some interesting stuff with her at Wrestlers Lab.
I will say it was an honor sponsoring this match alongside Grit and Glitter. I was well worth it, even though it was really supposed to be Ziggy. Janai Kai. It was a great match. This was in May. So this was my second time seeing Janai and my first time seeing Delilah then. So it was just great. It was a great flowing match. It made sense. The gimmicks got through. I remember sitting there, and I think this match was a little quieter than the others. Correct me if I'm wrong. And we were just, the vibe, and I'm sure Jay Gold would probably back, because he was there, would probably back me up on this. We were quiet, and I noticed it like halfway through the match that we were really quiet, but we were all like on the edge of our seats, like watching like what was going to happen next. We were too enthralled to really think about doing much else. Everybody was definitely paying attention one day, and we were just too engrossed in what was going on.
You had that hot second half. So you had the hardcore match, then the Fans Bring the Weapons match, then you had the tag team match that was just fire. And this is kind of like you're going into it, so you're kind of cooling down on the cheering part, but you're still intently watching to see what was going to happen. Like I totally get that vibe. That's
definitely what was happening. I don't know that Labs had anybody quite like Janai Kai either, who's it looks very, very real because of her background And
Yeah, she's
her
really
gimmick.
excellent. MLW smart move picking her up. She's really, really good.
Yeah.
Delilah Doom gets the win with the Jacker Guy Jolt. And then we have our main event. The Wrestler Glob champion, Eel O'Neill, defending against Darian Bankston. Or if we talked about it earlier on, last time out, Eel O'Neill getting disqualified, punching ref Gina. Roki Jones gets to be the referee this time around. And fun little match here. If I've seen Darian Bankston, I don't remember seeing him before this, but I like what I saw of him here. Eel O'Neill's great.
Hardy put him over huge on commentary, saying like he had wrestled for AEW and stuff like that. So he's been around for a bit and done some things.
He was great in the ring. It was my first time seeing it. I was like, he was very good.
Yeah, it's the reason why he's main eventing for the title against somebody. He's a very, very solid. So
got a fun little match here. We get a controversial finish. We get Roki taking an accidental shot. O'Neill is struggling. He goes to punch Roki on purpose. Bankston blocks the punch. O'Neill throws Bankston's fist into Roki. As Roki turns around, all Roki sees is Bankston's hand hitting her in the face. So she disqualified Darian Bankston in 14-17. So Eel O'Neill retains by disqualification. I get what they were doing with the finish, and I can appreciate it. I don't like it. I mean, it kind of makes Roki look like shit, if I'm being honest. All she called with the hand, like she couldn't tell if there was any intent behind it or not. I don't think it does anything for Darian Bankston when you have a finish like that. It's good for Eel O'Neill, making Eel O'Neill look like a dick. So that mission accomplished there. I mean, I get what they were going for with the finish. That's the referee and me coming out with a little bit too, though.
That's what I kind of figured. When it involves a referee finish, you're going to have a specific view on it. So that's why I was curious to see what your view was. So like what your full point was on it. So.
Yeah, it's one of those deals where you want to support the ref. Yeah, well, looking what the referee call, because you want to take a good call, but at the same time, it's like then just the kind of the nature of that finish. Like as much as we all love Eddie Guerrero and Eddie Guerrero doing the stuff behind the referee's back, a lot of those finishes really made those referees look really bad, and that could kind of similar in that vein to me. And that your mileage is going to vary. I am being biased because I'm a referee. And I know, like, if I were the referee for this match, I would be kind of like, okay, I get what you're going with it, but is there another way we can do that and get that across? Just me personally. I'm trying not to be critical of it, but I know what they were going for, and I can appreciate what they were going for. But.
Yeah, and I can understand your point on that coming from, you being a ref, because, I mean, for me, I was like, oh, we're doing it again, but when it switched around and Eel... It made, Darian be the one that hit her. I was like, oh, I get it now. He doesn't want to do the same thing twice because he got a reprimanded from Chris after the fact of, hitting Gina last time. So he's like, well, I can't do that again. And so when, his opponent tried to stop him, well, he saw an opportunity to make it work in his favor. And like, for me, the reaction between Darian and Rosie when it happened made me forget about the fact that it almost felt like, really, again, because it was too good. Like her snapping at him and like, no, you're not. I mean, like it was too good for me to like be upset about that. So,
and everybody individually did a great job with the role they had in the finish. The finish itself, and again, me as a referee, I don't like this. I would not like the finish if I were the referee, because you don't want to say how to make the referee look, but at the same time, like how to make the referee look. If you're doing a promotion that has the qualification, your referee have to have credibility. How much credibility do you have if that's the finish?
I think he's just playing the crowd right. Like you got to know your audience.
Yeah,
and he knows the audience is so behind Rosie and so behind Gina and so behind Crystal that Chris knows he doesn't got to worry about it. I think if you did that over and over again at, say, a promotion like AIW, even NeoPro that's still pretty new, you're gonna want to think, how's this gonna make the ref look? But I think Chris knows his audience well enough, and he hit the nail on the head, and everybody immediately turned on Eel and didn't think twice about Rosie making the wrong call, air quotes. So like I think it's knowing your audience, and that's part of what you got to be as a promoter. And I think Chris knew his audience right in this one. So it didn't come across that way.
Yeah, and that's the fine line when you do a finish like that, is knowing your audience, knowing is the heel going to get the heat or is the promotion going to get the heat. In this case, again, I think you're right because of the audience and what it is. I think the heel got the heat.
Oh yeah, he did.
So it does work in that sense. But you're walking such a fine line with a finish like that. And if you've got even one or two more people in that crowd that are going to look at that and go, well, that was bullshit. You've ruined the entire thing. You got to be real careful with a finish like that.
I'm just very curious where the story goes from there. So I'm curious what the next beat is, because do you get like a referee and like put them in like football gear so like they can't get hit in the face like with a football helmet, and give them like a referee cam, or what do you do? What do you do?
I was thinking special guest referee.
Yeah, that's another option. Like right off the bat too, is get a special guest referee in there to kind of lay the law down, and that can take a punch and maybe give one back if he'll tries to get feisty.
Yeah, that special referee make the most sense coming off that finish. I mean, I guess the other option would be Crystal would be the referee, block the punch and kick somebody in the dick, but
or fight back, one or the other. But yeah,
definitely curious to see where it goes. So they left us wanting some more out of the main title. What do you grade in this, JHawk?
I'm going to give the show a thumbs up, leaning toward the middle. That was not I didn't think that was a blowaway show by any stretch of the imagination, but there were a lot more good than bad. And even the stuff that I wasn't necessarily a fan of, I still liked. I'll give it a thumbs up. I'm
going to give it 4 globs out of 5 because it was a 2.5 hour show. Didn't overstay its welcome with a bunch of extra shit. Nothing was offensively bad. And I got to see Savage Gnomes and Bird Law, which I kind of wanted to see for a while. Plus, I got to see Derek Russell, and Derek's a homie, so yeah.
I'm gonna give it 4 bacon pancakes out of 5.
Right on.
Yep. I love the card. There were some bumps along the way, but overall, great talent picks. There were some matches that are definitely going to be up there for my end of the year matches that I think back to. Book Bird Law versus Savage Gnomes everywhere. Give them full storyline. I would not be opposed. And just kudos to Toddy being the only one on commentary and the referees. Everything went really seamless in that show. Even though I was there helping out a little bit and scrambling around helping them too, but they made it happen. So yeah.
Right on. All right. Well, Tess, is there anything you'd like to plug before we get out of here?
Yes. So I am Mohawk Monoshirt for myself everywhere on social media. Women's Wrestling Watch on everything on social media. Shortly, probably in a week or 2 from the time this goes out, the submissions for LGBTQ History Month in October will be going live for the showcase. So keep an eye out for that. And I will be picking up scheduling for the Northeast Ohio and surrounding area starting next month for September.
Awesome. All right. Watch some indie wrestling, and we'll talk to you next week.
Later.
Bye.
Later, dweebs.
Don't forget to review and subscribe wherever you listen to us. Find us online at Facebook and Instagram at The Indie Wrestling Guide. And on X or Twitter at IWGuide1.